Watching News at Prime, let's get into this discussion now. The Basic Education Department is on a mission to rid schools of sex pests. Government is paying for student teachers to be vetted against the National Sex Offenders Register. Just over 78,000 of more than 405,000 teachers at public schools have been vetted. South African Council for Educators legal manager Sandile Ntshalintshali talks to us from Cape Town this evening. Mr. Ntshalintshali, good evening to you and thank you very much for your time. I picked up with keen interest that one of the higher education institutions, to be exact, University of Johannesburg, commending the Department of Basic Education for paying for these costs of vetting. Normally, who would pay for the vetting costs? Is it the candidate themselves?
Good evening, Oli, and good evening to your listeners. Oli, you would know that every employer has a prerogative of vetting its employees when they are to be employed where there are children. Now, in this instance, it is an issue where the Department of Education, in my understanding, is reaching out to the student teachers. You know that the student teachers currently are unemployed, and that the Department of Education has taken a drastic step to fund this process. It's purely to ensure that at the end of the production of educators, we admit educators who are not in the register.
Yeah.
And it's an initiative that we applaud as the South African Council for Educators, and also noting the fact that even us as a regulatory body, we are vetting the very same student teachers.
Yeah.
Only in 2019, the council introduced a requirement of registering educators, that is to submit a police clearance. And that decision was purely meant to ensure that we register student teachers who will be educators who are not in any of the two registers, which is the National Sex Offenders Register and the Child Protection Register.
Yeah.
So the idea behind the move by the employer, which is the Department of Education, will be of essence in terms of eradicating the intake of potential educators who may be appearing in either of the two registers.
Okay. Now, the understanding here, Mr. Ntshalintshali, is that these student teachers, the ones that are being vetted in this cycle, they are part of the bursary scheme called Funza Lushaga. This is a basic education department bursary scheme. But here is what is of interest, and that is that student teachers are encouraged to apply for vetting process annually, regardless of their funding and level of study. Is this a voluntary process, or is this something that has to be almost, is this something that has to be done by the teachers, by the student teachers? Because if it's voluntary, then you are risking a potential someone potentially doing wrong here.
Yeah. Probably. Let me just, from your question, let me a little bit divert a little bit and share the information in terms of the operations of the South African Council for Educators. The reason why we are instructing the student teachers who are applying to be registered with the regulatory body to provide the criminal records, right? Now, when they provide the criminal record, from our side, we then submit the application of the educator together with the criminal record that the educator has submitted, and we refer it to DOJ for DOJ to vet, to check whether this applicant does not appear in the register of sex offenders. The reason, probably, and I must indicate to the viewers that we are doing that religiously from the first year students, so that we are now able to monitor the movement of these student teachers right up to the year they complete, so that we are definitely sure that as they are unleashed to the mainstream for employment, we have clearly been monitoring them, they have been vetted, and we are sure that our kids are at the safe hands of these potential fit to practice teachers.
Yeah. The understanding is that there is a dedicated code of ethics that teachers must live by. Remind us what that says.
Yes. Probably, we currently, if we refer to student teachers, we are actually at 99% on completion in terms of consultation with the institution of higher learning, with the learners. We have a code of professional ethics that is designed for the student teachers in terms of how they are expected to behave as soon as they enter the fray of the profession.
Yeah.
On the other side, we also have a code of professional ethics for the educators who are now qualified. And the code of professional ethics, there are two, probably. One will be for the student teachers, and the other one will be for teachers who are already in practice. And the one that is for the educators who are in practice already has got 7 pillars. And the code as it is now, it zooms at a behavior of the teacher 24/7, 365 days. If it's a leap year, it's going to be 366 days. The behavior in and out of the school premises.
Who conducts the vetting?
From our side, remember that when we register the educator, right? The student teacher, sorry, let me correct it. When we register the educator, the documents, remember that the police clearance will be coming directly from SAPS. And the documentation for verification in terms of the National Sex Offenders Register is then referred to the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development. Those are the people that we are working with them. We submit these applications of these teachers for them to assist us in verifying the status of a particular student teacher.
Yeah. Final question to you. Your annual report for the year 2024-2025 said that there were about 15,583 student teachers. Now, I want to come to the number of those that have now been vetted. I come to then the period of 31 March 2025. And there is a report here from the Basic Education Department which says only 78,509 out of 405,000 teachers at public schools had been vetted. Why is there such a discrepancy, or why is there a delay in vetting all of these student teachers?
Cody, let's correct the figures there, right? When you talk of 400 and odd thousand, you are talking about educators that are already in the system, okay? Right. And truth be told, remember that some of those educators that are in the system have long been in the system even before the establishment of this National Sex Offenders Register, which was as per the Act of Parliament. So there is a possibility that some of those educators may not have been vetted. But zooming into the student teachers, from our side, we can attest and confirm to say, effectively from January 2019, every student teacher who applied to be registered with SACE was vetted in terms of our systems.
Understood. Understood. All right. Thank you very much for your time, Sandile Ntshalintshali. He is with the South African Council for Educators, a legal manager there.